Assalamualaikum and hi to Dr. Nora. My name is Muhammad Mishafiq Mendorisnen. So, on this video, our group will present to you our group project under the topic of RFID technology. Before I start, I would like to introduce to you my group member. First, Muhammad Aidil, Muhammad Anif, Nuraini Panot, and lastly, Nurul Najwa Fatihah. Alright, so I will proceed by giving a brief explanation regarding this RFID technology. In Malaysia, like 1.2 million users active in using RFID technology by Touch 'n Go RFID. Now, what is Touch 'n Go? Touch 'n Go Sedia Berhad was incorporated in October 1996, whereby it launched its service in March 1997 at the Metromed Highway and Plus Expressway. It provides a mode of payment via a prepaid e-payment card called the Touch 'n Go card. The Touch 'n Go card provides user with a means to perform cashless, low-value transaction with its simple and convenience. It totally discards the need to carry and search for lost change when making payment. Touch 'n Go is now the one and only electronic toll collection ETC operator for all highway in Peninsular Malaysia. I will pass the presentation to the next presenter.
Hi, Assalamualaikum and very good day, Doctor. My name is Muhammad Hanif bin Murgani and my match number is AP180287, and today I would like to explain about the literature review. So, for the literature review, the variable is RFID, which is the author is what is Lobeck in 2008. That explained that technology is a well-known wireless application for traceability, logistics, and access control over casual network. And then I will explain about the RFID technology tag that found that authors, which is Loggery et al. 2011, 2012, Salim 2012, Roy 2018, and Kaur et al. 2016. Explained that RFID tag is also known as a transponder or a small RFID device that can be enclosed to an object. Active tags enclosed to an active tag, passive tags, semi-passive tags, read-only tags, write-once, read-main tags, and read-write tags are example of RFID tags. Next, I will go to the literature review of toll payment. So, toll payment, they have authors, which is Fatima et al. 2018 and Loggery et al. 2012. E-toll is prepaid card used mainly for electronic payment at toll gates which accept its usage. This research is conducted because this research has observed the phenomenon that the usage of e-toll card is still low. So next, I will explain about the consumer acceptance. So, Cruteltier et al. 2011 has explained that the acceptance is mainly influenced by three factors, which is consumer characteristic, purchasing situation, and product characteristic. So next, I will explain about the perceived usefulness. Perceived usefulness, the authors have Davis 1989, Exen 2011, Zhu et al. 2012, Akram and Albawi 2016, Shin 2010, Lin and Jiang 2013. It's explained that the findings is perceived usefulness is defined as the degree to which a person believes that using a particular system would enhance his or her job performance. So next is the perceived ease of use. So the perceived ease of use is Zhou 2013 and Davis 1989. For the perceived ease of use is defined as the degree to which a person believes that using a particular system would be free of effort. Next, I will explain about the trust. Trust, the author, which is Chong et al. 2012, Wu and Liu 2007, and Choi et al. 2013. It's explained that trust is defined as individual belief that a party will keep their promise in track. Trust is also defined as whether users are willing to become vulnerable to the online technology provider or after considering their characteristic. Next, I will explain about the social influence. So the social influence, the author involved is Su and Lu in 2004, Van Cartage et al. 2012, Davis 1989, and Chong et al. 2012. Each explain that social influence is the social environment of the decision maker should not be overlooked when analyzing the acceptability of technical breakthrough. Next, I will explain about the perceived enjoyment. Perceived enjoyment, Venkatesh and Balas 2008, Kraft 1998, Hongzhu and Ping Chong 2015, and Shin 2010. It explained that perceived enjoyment is defined as the extent to which activity of using a specific system is perceived to be enjoyable in its own right, aside from any performance consequence resulting from system use. Next is the perceived behavior control. For the last of the literature review is perceived behavior control. Taylor and Todd 1995 and Weiss and Lockback in 2008. It's defined that the perceived behavior control an individual perceived knowledge and availability of resource such as time and money to make use of a given technology. That's all from me. Thank you.
Alright, I will proceed with my part, which is the result of this questionnaire. So first, for the demographic data, basically, the majority of our survey is responded by the female, which contribute to 81.8%, while for the male, only have 18.2%. Next, for the majority age that answered our survey came from 21 to 30 years old, which contribute to 50.9%. Next, for the races, our questionnaire was majority answered by Malay race, which contribute to 92.7%. Alright, I will go for status, which are single or married, but basically the majority of our respondents are married, which contribute to 80%. While for the employment, which is the last demographic question in our survey, the majority of the respondent came from the non-government worker, which contribute to 35.8%. Next, after the demographic part, I will proceed to the next part, which is the section B. So, basically, the data was collected by asking them to rate their preferences by using the 5 Likert scale. The 5 Likert scale is an interval scale. The average is very essential. It implies strongly disagree from 1.0 to 1.8, disagree from 1.81 until 2.60, neutral from 2.61 until 3.40, agree from 3.41 until 4.20, while strongly agree is from 4.21 until 5.0. An examination of respondents' view on the perceived of RFID usefulness that influenced them to use the RFID for toll payment. The highest reason of perceived RFID usefulness is using RFID would make it easier for me to pay toll fees, which have mean of 4.30. The second highest reason of RFID usefulness is using RFID would enable me to accomplish toll payment more quickly, which has the mean of 4.29. The third highest reason for RFID perceived usefulness is using RFID would enable me to accomplish total payment more quickly, which has mean of 4.25. Meanwhile, the lowest reason of RFID perceived usefulness is using RFID would significantly increase the quality or output of my life, which has mean of 4.16. Alright, I will move on to section C, which is perceive of using. Alright, based on table 3, an examination of respondents' views on the perceived ease of using RFID that influenced them to use the RFID for toll payment. The highest reason in perceived ease of using RFID is I think using RFID is easy, which has mean of 4.27. The second highest reason of perceived ease of using RFID is learning to use RFID is easy for me, which has the mean of 4.18. Meanwhile, the lowest reason of perceived using of RFID is find my interaction with the RFID system is clear and understandable, which has the mean of 3.90. Next, I will proceed with section D, which is trust. Based on table 4, an examination of respondents' views on the trust in using RFID that influence them to use the RFID for toll payment, the highest reason of RFID is trusted, whereby RFID service provider keeps my best interest in mind, which has the mean of 4.09. The second highest reason of RFID is trusted is the RFID system is trustworthy and the RFID system provides reliable information, which both has the mean of 4.05. Meanwhile, the lowest reason of RFID is trusted is the RFID service provider keeps promises and commitments, which has the mean of 3.93. For section E, which is social influence, based on table 5, an examination of respondents' views on the sources that influence them to use the RFID for toll payment, the highest sources that influence them is people who are important to them would find using RFID for toll payment is a good idea, which has the mean of 4.23. And the second highest score through people who are important to me would recommend using RFID for toll payment, which has the mean of 4.18. Meanwhile, the lowest score on sources that influence them to use RFID is people who are important to them would find using RFID for toll payment is beneficial, which has mean of 4.16. Next, for section F, which is the perceived enjoyment, based on table 6, an examination of respondents' views on the perceived enjoyment using RFID that influence them to use the RFID for toll payment, the highest reason of perceived enjoyment using RFID is using RFID for toll payment is pleasurable, which has the mean of 4.05. The second highest reason of perceived enjoyment using RFID is using RFID for toll payment gives enjoyment to me, which has the mean of 3.91. However, the lowest reason of perceived enjoyment is I have fun with using RFID for toll payment, which has the mean of 3.87.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nuraini binti Padot. I will continue our presentation with section G, perceived behavioral control. Based on the table, an examination of respondents' view on the perceived behavioral control using RFID that influence them to use RFID toll payment is if I using RFID, it is entirely within my control and I am usually able to skillfully use RFID, which means 4.0. Meanwhile, the lowest perceived behavioral control using RFID is I have the resource, knowledge, and ability to use RFID, which is mean 3.95.
Assalamualaikum. Hi, my name is Muhammad Adi bin Majid. So to continue the presentation, I will present the for section H, which is for the section H, we have examined the respondent view on the behavioral intention to use the RFID toll payment. As we can see on the table, the highest behavioral intention to use is for statement I am willing to use RFID in the near future, which is the mean is 4.27. Meanwhile, the lowest behavioral intention to use is for the statement I will frequently use RFID, which is the mean is 4.15. So next, in conclusion, RFID provide the excellence signaling characteristic with quick reaction times and is relatively inexpensive to deploy in terms of tech cost. And also, the study goal is to identify and evaluate the variable that affect user adoption of RFID toll payment. According to the finding, all the variables that affect user acceptance of RFID technology for toll payment have a positive connection with the adoption of the technology by the user. This is because based on the average of the mean value that have been calculated, the mean value is between 3.41 to 4.20, indicate that the user agree with the factor that influence them or acceptance of RFID technology for payment. Therefore, all the hypothesis is accepted because all the factors have positive significant relationship toward use RFID tech for toll payment.
Next, we continue our presentation with recommendations. The currently obvious difficulty, mostly with toll systems, are that customer must drive at a very modest speed to scan the card. When a high number of automobile queue to pay their toll first, traffic jams occur. As a result, to minimize the traffic congestions, Malaysia roadway or highway must completely utilize RFID. So, we may assume a faster time for reading or reaction times for the gadget as technology advances, particularly in the area of radio frequency identification, which is RFID. Lastly, there is no need for boom barrier if RFID is integrated into the toll collecting system. Next, RFID systems already in place. The requirements for payment to pass across toll plaza is no longer necessary because users only need to fill in their RFID tags. This will enable the system to perform the necessary tasks even faster and notify the user of any violations. In the future, it is suggested that the system need to be improved to make it more user-friendly and valuable to the organizations. According to Fong et al. 2019, they also claim that it is even better for users of mobile device to view it using an application instead of a mobile web browser because it may be damaged when accessed through a phone web browser. The present system only sends an email when a person visits the website. It is in both parties' best interest, which is the firm and the consumer, to be allowed to receive email notifications about any offense in the future. Okay, lastly, despite its many benefits, RFID technology still have several drawbacks, including technical limitations, consumer data privacy, and more significantly, privacy and security issues. Systems that have a large number of RFID data security issues because of the lack of proper authentications. Unauthorized user or hacker can see, delete, and even edit text without a permission. So, RFID systems must increase security and provide assurance to their clients that their data is secure. According to Bekal and Azizi 2017, RFID consumer need assurance the data saved or exchanged in text will be kept safe and confidential against tracings and consumer identity theft. Thank you.